Hi, I'm Rosa. Thank you for clicking onto my video. I have a Tesla Model Y 2023 and I've had it for 2 months now, and I thought I'd be good to give you a review of what I like about it and what I think could be a little bit better. Overall, I think the car's fantastic. I've had many cars, most like anyone else, but my last car was a Kia Soul. It was a 2015 Kia Soul that I had until just the beginning of this year, and I used it for work, and that's what I bought this car for work. I say that so that you understand that I use my car all day long, every day. It is taking a beating out with me on the road. It's not going into like a construction zone per se, but I am in it every day, and our conditions are harsh. We're in South Florida. It's hot. It can be dusty and dirty. I try to get through the car wash a couple times a week, but I'm using it. I'm using the car. It's not sitting in an office parking lot. It's getting used. I average about 30,000 miles a year in my driving, and it's mainly city driving. I don't go very far, maybe an hour and a half tops. My perspective from the car is from an end user, and I really use it. I'm in my car right now, and I'm at work, so this is perfect. Let me start with what people look for when they sit in a car. The seats and the cup holders, as strange as that may sound. We all need some space because we're all carrying a bunch of crap. It's the center console. It has 2 cup holders and storage here, as well as in the center and the glove box. So 2 cup holders, pretty standard. Do I wish I had more? Sure, but it's good. It holds what I need. And I also have enough room for my hydro flask in the door. I also have some sunscreen here. Like I said, I work outside. So it can hold my water bottle without any problem. And that's usually where I put it. And I still have room in the side for my sunscreen. I have a pair of gloves in here. And hand sanitizer. And I still have a little bit of space down there. So as far as holding drinks, it's fine. There's also 2 cup holders in the back, which I'll talk to you about in a second. This space is great. You can lay 2 phones here, and it will charge your phones on the magnetic charger if you put them there. So that works pretty nice. Otherwise, I should stick something there. And in another video, I did a review of this that I liked. I bought this on Amazon. It's just a tray that you slip in there, and as you can tell, I have everything I need in there. It even has a little slot if you have a cord that you need to use to charge, if you don't want to use those chargers. And I have to tell you, I don't think these chargers are very efficient. They don't seem to charge as well as I thought they would have. So that's why I have this in here. There are 2 ports in here to charge, but since I'm on the go so much, I actually have a backup battery. And there's still plenty of space down here for utensils when I need to have lunch. Advil, because everybody should carry something for a headache. A pen. There's plenty of room. So in this area with the cord, I think Tesla did a nice job. And I've only gotten this stuck in here once because something was too high. But I do recommend this. I bought it on Amazon. I like it a lot. There's expensive ones and some that are priced pretty fairly. This one was priced fairly, and I'm really glad I bought it. As for the cup holders in the back, I would have to say that they could be a little bit better. They're nice cup holders. You could tell I've spilled coffee already. This rest is a little low, so you put the coffee in here and it just seems to spill. So if this was a little higher, it would keep the coffee a little bit more upright and would keep it from spilling. So that's something that I think could be worked on, but it is what it is. Now for the leather seats. They're comfortable, and I didn't research to see what they're made out of, how they're made, what the composite is, how the leather is, blah, blah, blah. They're nice. They wipe down really well. I've had all kinds of dirt in here already, and I've spilled stuff, and everything wipes down and out really nicely. I did not want to get white because I will get it dirty. I've had light color seats before, and I like the light colored seats, but I and the people who will sit in my car will dirty my seats. So black worked better for me. Plus black on black with black rims, everything looked good on this car. That's why we picked black. But the seats are extremely comfortable. They're easy to work, and they have seat heaters, which I live in Florida. You wouldn't think I'd use seat heaters, but I don't like to be cold. And I will turn them on every so often just to make my back feel better. And I will use them in the winter. What I've had in other cars that I've really liked, I've had a car with, I'll call it seat chillers, and I really didn't use that too much. And I've had a car, it was a Ford, that had seat massagers, and that I use the heck out of. This car doesn't have that, but once you get a car with seat massagers, they're awesome. They're really awesome. Everything on the dash, as you know, is in this central display. And there's nothing else. You have the air conditioning here. Everything is really controlled through there. You have a couple of these here that will help you control some things. It's a little getting used to. Not anything you don't get used to pretty quickly. I did have, maybe the second day I had my car, I drove it at night. I had one freak out moment when it was dark, and I looked down here and realized it is dark right here, which is fine. You get used to that. But after driving for decades and having something lit up with the speed limit and gauges, when you look down and everything is dark, you're like, oh crap. But then you realize it's all over here. For the most part, this works well. You can hit this on the side and get the windshield wipers to turn on, and then it will pop up here and you can turn them on and put them fast. That gets a little getting used to. You don't use the brake for the most part, which is fine. You get used to that. One thing that I haven't gotten used to, and I feel bad for the guy at the car wash because he has had to help me out a couple times, is putting it in neutral. That doesn't come easy. It gets a little getting used to. You put your foot on the brake and hit the side lever slightly, you get neutral. But I've stopped the car wash a couple times when I couldn't get it into neutral. And the air conditioning. When I test drove the car, the air conditioning was hitting me in the face, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to stop or move it, because of course there's nothing up here to move. I don't like AC in my face for the most part, but it's in the controls, and that I wish there was a little knob or something, because I'm constantly hitting this button to up the air, down the air, change the speed. It is kind of cool because you can move it with your fingers, get it off your face, go down, go up, and that's cool. But when you're using it 30 times a day, it gets a little old. I haven't had any issues with the car other than a nail in the tire, which I got fixed at Goodyear, and I did a video on that, so if you want to see it, it's in my videos. But it's been good so far. I'm at the 2-month mark, and I have 5,600 miles on the car right now. It was my husband's idea to get a Tesla, and he was actually excited about getting a Tesla. I was just like, yeah, I need a car. You know, what's it going to be? Because there wasn't anything on the market that I was really excited about or looked forward to buying. And I really didn't want to hassle with the car dealerships and their plus MSRP pricing. So while we were waiting for the car, my husband kept asking me, are you excited? Isn't this great? You know, what do you think? And I just completely would answer like I wasn't even thinking about the car. I forgot that we even ordered a car. But now that we have it, I love the car. I think it's fantastic. One of the things that I like a lot is how fast it goes. It goes really fast. It picks up speed incredibly. When people are tooting along in my way, I can get around them. It may not be a good thing that I can get some speed on this car, but I really do enjoy it, and it's worked out for me so far. It's made it fun to drive again. For the back seats, they're roomy. There's lots of space back there. It works well. Our son is about 6'4", and he has no problem sitting in the back seat with us. The roof, I mentioned in another video that I bought this screen, and I'm glad I have it for the summer months. It does help with the heat a little bit. The heat's not that much, but I do feel it, especially being in the car so much. I showed in another video that we bought the liners for this front and back seat, and I'm glad I did. It helps keep them clean. They actually Velcro on the bottom, unlike other ones that kind of snap in place or just lay there. So it really doesn't move too much or lets you get stuff underneath it. And like I said, I go to the car wash once or twice a week, and everything cleans up really nicely. There isn't anything that's really stayed, other than I need to work on the coffee drippings in the back seat. That I've had a little bit of trouble getting up, but it's okay. It's part of what happens in the car. And here's something that's a user error thing. This is how you put it in drive, reverse, neutral, and the car pretty much just stays. You stay in drive, and you take your foot off the pedal and it comes to a stop. You don't have to put it in brake or park unless you're getting out. And if you get out of your car, I guess it senses when you get out of your seat, so it goes into park. But I've been at a stoplight where I'm not moving, but it's in drive, and then I forget and I hit it to go down again into drive, but it's already in drive. Anyway, it's totally a user error thing, and the car acts very strange, like it wants to accelerate more than it should. It's just, you've done something wrong, and it quickly shows it. So that's not anything wrong with the car. It's a user error thing that you have to get used to, because after driving a regular car, it's kind of unnatural not to have to put your foot on the brake. But you know, slowly but surely you get used to it. It's happened to me a couple times, and hopefully it won't happen again. Talk about the premium services. The stations, the music stations they have, really good. I like them. It's great music. You can easily change one song to the next by hitting this sideways. You can adjust the volume here as well on your steering wheel, and they don't have commercials. When you turn the car off, the song you were last listening to is still on when you come back in. Well, you really don't turn the car off, but let's say when you get out of the car tomorrow, you may come back into the car and your station is still at the same song you were when you left it. So that's a nice feature. One thing it doesn't have is AM radio, and that I missed because I did listen to talk radio. I know I can get it streaming, but that's one thing in the car that isn't available, and from what I read, it interferes with the car to have AM, so it's just one of those things. The camera system is pretty cool. Now I am driving and I have the cameras on, which you just push the camera button and get it to come on or not. You can have this on all the time. You can look behind you the whole ride if you want. Or, I'm not wearing my seatbelt right now because I'm on a little road, but when you back up, you can have the view of just the big camera, or you can have all three, and it's pretty good backing up so that you can see everything around you. That I like. Control panel on your screen is how you access your windshield wipers, your mirrors, basically everything is accessed on this thing. But under controls is where you can open your glove box. Or you can hit this button and talk to it and it will open. Watch. Open glove box. And it magically opens. It's good that you can open it with voice, and it's good that you can hit it here. You just have to go through an extra step. I would have much preferred a button to open it, but it's just part of the Tesla. In my first video when I got the car, I mentioned range anxiety, and it's a real thing. You get the vehicle and you're constantly worried about, are you going to have enough range to get where you're going? And the car is really good. You just put the address of where you're going. It'll tell you what your battery will be when you get there, and it'll also show you where the charge places are. It's just a little bit of anxiety because you're used to going to a gas station and just getting fuel at the ready, and all of a sudden you have to account for, am I going to make it? Do I need to stop somewhere? I haven't stopped anywhere. I've gotten fuel, or I've charged up at home only. I haven't gone to any superchargers anywhere, and it's worked out. Right now I'm at 34%, which equals 109 miles. I don't worry about it like I did when I first got the vehicle. So I charge to 90% every evening, every night, and that's probably too high. Most people will tell you to go to 80, but when I read up on it, if I were at 80, I would be at 24 right now or lower, and this is after a full day of work. So I rather have the little buffers just in case I need to do some extra running around. Needless to say, the range anxiety is a lot better, thankfully. And we did get the dual motors, so I'm able to, I have extended range. When I first got the car, well, let me back up. When you get out of the car, it locks after you walk away or you wait a few seconds. And when I first got the car, I would start walking away, listening for it to lock. Is it going to lock? Do I need to hit the lock button on my phone? It's worked out. I just walk away now and don't even worry about it. It's something you get used to. I do like the amount of space that the trunk has. And this is, I've had this for over 20 years and it's gone through every car I've had, but it's just a rubber mat. I like the amount of space. I like this cover. I have it just pushed back, but you can pull it all the way out. It works well. These cubbies, as I call them, are terrific. As you can see, I have stuff in there, including a gallon water bottle. And I have some grocery bags over there. The space down here is nice too. It's a deep, ample space, as well as the front and the front. So that I like. It's great. The tint on the rear windows is a nice color. I still have to tint the front windows. You're getting glare here, and I apologize for that, as well as all my work stuff in the front. But I'm going to have them tinted. I just haven't. It's one of those things I haven't gone around. When I first got the car and did my first video, I had plenty of people that told me to get the protective film on the hood so that it would protect the car from road debris, such as rocks, anything that comes off the ground when you're on the road. And I thought about it. I went and got an estimate. I thought it was something I would do, but I've since decided against it. And here are the reasons why. It's extremely expensive, and if this car was a car that I wasn't going to use as much, I mean, it's gonna get some wear and tear. I would maybe consider it. We were looking upwards of $3,000, between $1,500 and $3,000, and I decided it's not where I want to spend my money. I'm going to use a car. It's going to get some road bruising, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to get door dings. I'm not walking 3 miles to get to the front of a store, and that's okay too. So I'm going to show you the first ding I've gotten from a rock. It's a little dirty because I ran through some rain on the way home. These are just bugs that I need to go back through the car wash. But so you see right there, that's a chip in my paint from, it's not wanting to focus, but it's from a rock that has bounced off a road and hit my hood. And it's unfortunate, it makes me sad, but it's okay. I am sad about it, but it's going to happen, and I'm over the sadness, and we're moving on. It's all good. I use my car a lot, and that's the price I pay for using it a lot, and those things are going to happen. There could be much worse things that happen. And one of the other reasons that I decided not to do the film is because I had a protective film on my Kia Soul. It was on the back bumper, and about year 5 it started yellowing, and then it was difficult to get off, and it left a residue, and I had to scrape. And these film companies will warranty it, but not much past 5 years. And they all say, oh, well, we can take it off after 5 years. Well, they may not even be around after 5 years, the installers anyway. So I decided it wasn't worth my money, or it wasn't where I wanted to put my money for this car. One thing that I am going to mention is the rims. These rims are beautiful. I love them. They look great with the black car and the black interior. And you can see I've driven through grass right now. But you see, I've already scratched the rims. because unlike a regular car where they sit back a little bit, these rims stick out just a hair. And I've hit a couple curbs. Nobody's fault but my own. The first time I hit it, I was like, ah, I scratched up my rims because they're black, and now you're gonna see the scratches. But after I got over being sad about it and realized that it's going to happen because it's a working car, I actually saw another car parked next to me this past week. He had the same rims, same car, same black everything, and his rims looked a lot worse than mine. And then he had taken black paint, and filled it in so you couldn't see it as much. So it must be a problem or something that other people are suffering as well, not just me. It's just sad when it happens the first time, but it's all good. It doesn't sum up to a hill of beans. Here she is, my Model Y. So in recapping, I'll give you 3 things that I really love about the car and 3 things that I think need some improvement. As per me, it's just my opinion. Number 1 of the best things about the car is the speed, the ability to reach a high speed, and the real ability to just go fast. It goes fast. I love that. That's my number 1. That's something that I had missed in a car for a long time, and I love having it back. In fact, when we were purchasing this car, or we were car shopping, I told my husband, I'm going to buy a car, utilitarian car, and my next car will be a standard shift speedy car. And not very many manufacturers make standard shift anymore. So I've been looking and test driving, and I thought I had narrowed it down, but this really has filled that want of speed that I've had for a long time. Number 2 thing that I really like about this car is how comfortable it is. It's extremely comfortable, easy to drive. Just, it has really been a pleasure, and I had no idea. I not only wasn't expecting it, but I would buy another Tesla without thinking about it. And the third thing that I have to say I really like about the car is the fuel savings. I'm not going to the gas station, I'm not waiting for gas, and I am not spending the same amount I was on gas. So those are the 3 things that I love about the Tesla. And now let me tell you 3 things that I think need improvement. This may seem like a silly thing, and it's totally not a deal breaker, but the cup holder in the back, so that my coffee, when I buy an extra coffee, isn't spilling in the back, needs improvement. That I would say, hey, let's fix that. Second thing that I would change if I was some kind of vehicle engineer would be just some kind of rearrangement in the dimensions in the back so that it can close without constantly telling me that my cooler is in the way. My cooler, my stuff from Costco, you name it, it seems to get in the way, and the trunk doesn't close right, and I have to stop and close it and blah, 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 blah. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just something that could be tweaked. And the third thing that I would change is a control for the air conditioner. Even though this is awesome, and look at that, I just turned on the one on the passenger side. It's so cool and futuristic, but really, I just want to know how to turn it up and down real quick. I can certainly get used to it. It's not a big deal. And here's one bonus plus that I didn't tell you about, but it's another thing that I really like about the car. I don't have to carry keys, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but I get in and out of my car all day long. I'm looking at jobs, talking to people, going places, and I may not be carrying a purse because I'm working, and it's purse just, will get in the way. As much as I like handbags, I don't necessarily carry one every day. So I always would stick the key in my pocket, and then I'd have to remember that it's in my pocket, or I'd have to, if somebody else wanted to get in the car, I'd have to dig for it, look for a zip-up pocket. It was a thing. It was a thing. It was not a bad thing, but I was constantly keeping up with the key. And your key's in your phone with this car. You just open the app, and that I really like. That I really like because we carry our phones everywhere. Everyone has their phone on them all the time. You go to the bathroom and you have your phone. So it's been really nice that all I have to worry about is my phone. As long as I have my phone, I can unlock the car. My husband has the app on his, and he can unlock the car. My son has the app on his, and he can unlock the car. It just works out great. Carry your phone, you can open the car and get whatever you need out of it. And
there's really no downside to that, except when I first got the car, my son thought he'd want to mess with me, and he was turning off the AC and turning up the radio while I was in the car, and he wasn't, just because he could. So he's a good kid, wouldn't do it, except he thought it was funny that one day, and it was pretty funny. But that I like, carrying your phone instead of a key. Who would have thought they would have enjoyed that? But I do. I think that's fantastic.
And all that, and she's pretty too. And fueling up is as easy as that.
So really, I love the car. It's been a great purchase. I'm happy with it. I recommend it. I would buy another one, and we probably will at some point. Not just trade this one in, but have a second one. It's that good. And that's my opinion. And I thank you for watching and subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.